This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 396.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. We have two events coming up next week. We have WordCamp Galicia, Spain, which is September 30th through October 2nd, online of course, and WordCamp US, which is October 1st. It's a one-day event. I really wanted to participate in that one. I'm going to register, but I'm not going to be able to participate live because I will be traveling on that day, the 1st of October actually. So, but you should definitely go. They're both going to be great events. WordCamp US is the big one, but once again, this year online, not in person. Hopefully, just maybe 2022, back in line, back in person, live events. I am so looking forward to that. That'd be amazing. So, all right, moving on. Segment one in the news. A whole bunch of stuff to talk about here. First and foremost, LearnDash was acquired by LiquidWweb, StellarWP. It's that combo company. They are acquiring things like crazy lately. So, congratulations to Justin and team over there. Also, Sandhills Development was acquired by Awesome Motive. Sandhills is the company behind Affiliate WP, EDD, Sugar Calendar, a whole bunch of amazing plugins. Awesome Motive is the company behind Opt-in Monster, WP Beginner, etc. So also great news there. And congratulations, everybody. What else? Oh, WPWaterCooler is just celebrated its 400th episode, which is very cool. 9.5 years later. They have a couple of different shows under that brand of WPWaterCooler. I looked into it. I think I've been on 6 times as far as I found in the past. So that's kind of neat. And there's a link in the show notes and all that. And lastly, Keanan Koppenhaver has acquired WP Pusher and Branch. So that's pretty cool as well. So a lot of acquisitions, a lot of changes going on, and milestones, and I'm coming up to episode 400 as well. We're about 4 weeks out from that, so it's pretty exciting times. So, good stuff. If you have any, acquisitions that you want to share with me, by all means, send me a message. If you want to give me an exclusive preview, hot take, breaking news story, the scoop, if you will, that'd be even better. All right. Moving on, segment 2 of Meat and Potatoes, but first, a message from this week's sponsor, which is Marker.io. Running a web design agency, an e-commerce website, or software as a service-based business isn't always fun nor easy. Moving from idea to product to sale takes a lot of energy and people and feedback. Add to the mix the potential of multiple decision makers with everyone chiming in, making progress can become a nightmare. And who wants to deal with all that email? I don't, that's for sure. So how does my team handle it? Simple. We use Marker.io. For one of our recent projects, we installed the widget and collected feedback on both the staging and live websites. Marker.io allows us to customize the settings, which provides the use of different forms for internal teams as well as from customers. So cool. Gone are the days where a client has to try to explain in text what they want changed. Since Marker.io grabs a screenshot and allows you to mark it right up, right there on the screen. And when you're ready to review the feedback, well, no need to log into a new site or service to see the feedback, since Marker.io integrates into your favorite project manager or issue tracker seamlessly. Speed up website testing and collect client feedback easily without driving yourself or your team crazy. Simply head over to Marker.io for more info. That's MARKER.io. And thanks for sponsoring this week's episode of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. And again, I just want to thank Marker.io for sponsoring this week's podcast. Really do appreciate having you on board. All right, moving on to segment 2, e-commerce alternatives, part, I think 4 or 5, I'm not quite sure. We're talking about easy digital downloads this week. And, just another options out there versus the big ones per se out there. So this episode, I want to review version 2, which is the current stable release. Version 3 is on the cusp of being released, and we'll talk about that in a second. It's in RC1 status, release candidate 1. It's very close to being released. So, and I do use EDD on my current website, on KitchensinkWP, for my ebook. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. So as I prepped this episode, I was torn on how to review it because I have version 2 running, It's the most recent stable release, but I want to check out 3 and the upgrade path and any changes. So I decided to install version 2 on the dev site, share like I normally would, go through it, see what I see, tell you about that, and then check out version 3, RC1, share the differences best I can along with that upgrade and how that went. So that said, let's take a look at it. I headed over to the plugin repo, searched for easy digital downloads, found it easily, installed it, activated it, and the first thing I saw was a notice. It said, now accept credit card payments with Stripe. Easy digital downloads now lets you accept credit card payments using Stripe, including Apple Pay and Google Pay support. Enable this. There's a couple of links there. So that's the first thing you see on the top of your screen. The other thing, to kind of look around like what's new in the dashboard. So I saw right away a custom post type called downloads. And hovering over that area, you see all downloads, add new, categories, tags, payment history, customers, discount codes, reports, settings, tools, and extensions. So as in typical fashion, I went right over to settings because it makes the most sense. I want to set things up first. And here you're giving a slew, that's right, I said slew, of options via different tabs. Those tabs are general, payment gateways, emails, styles, taxes, privacy, and miscellaneous. So kind of going through the setup because that's always important, I think, to do things the right way, in the right order. In this first page and general tab area, you see the change. You can make changes for the pages for like primary checkout page, success page, failed transaction page. You can also pick a store location, your country and state. And on those specific pages, EDD creates them by default for you, the default pages. You could change them to different page names or pages, and you have to create the pages first. So it's kind of like that chicken and egg. So if you have not created the pages, EDD is going to create ones for you, and then you'd have to go create new ones and then just change them in this page itself. Okay. Payment gateways, next thing that makes the most sense to talk about here. It's vital. You need to get paid. You can select test mode, which you want to do when you first set things up because you're going to want to do some transactions that are not processed, but you want to test how things progress through the transaction process, right? That makes sense. So, and how do you want to get paid? You can do Stripe, PayPal, Amazon, test payment. So there's that. Under the emails tab, you could enter your basic information for your logo, your template, your from email address. You could also customize the purchase receipts and the new sale notification. Very cool. Styles tab, it's how the buttons look on the site. Taxes and privacy, pretty self-explanatory here, but I would definitely consult a tax professional as I'm not one. Same for the privacy. If you're looking for legal advice or GDPR, those type of things, you want to make sure you have those correctly for your location. And now let's not forget the miscellaneous tab, because it's here we can control the file download method, force versus redirect, and how many times you can download it, expiration dates, etc. So, pretty basic and pretty simple setup. It really is from the get-go for a basic, digital download type of system. Moving on to a new product, an item for sale, creating something. I clicked Add New, and I'm given what looks like a normal post with, of course, some customized fields. I can enter the name of the product. I add the content. I can give it pricing options, the product type, either default or bundle. I can give it a category or tag. The download settings, download image, which is for the product listing page. The download image, it's like the featured image, if you will. There's also a fallback image you can use if you wanted to. And I could give it some download notes. And what's kind of neat is you're also given an auto-generated shortcode for purchase. So you can put that on any other page you want for that product, okay? You also add product reviews, which you'll need an extension. And speaking of that, back in that general first hover over, there's extensions. There are a bunch of add-ons to the entire EDD ecosystem. So there's things that can help you with marketing and follow-up and what's it called, like abandoned cart. So there are a bunch of add-ons to this system as well. So from all that, I just went ahead, I wanted to create something. I went ahead and created 3 downloads. In this case, they're images, fairly straightforward. I added an image, I added some text, I gave it a pricing, and I was done, right? But how do I see these things? Instead of just view the product, I want to see it on a web page. So in my testing to see the products, using Beaver Builder, I created a new homepage, if you will. On that, I inserted a post module, and then I selected selected custom for where the content came from. The query was custom query, and that gave me the option then the content being download, because download is a custom post type, and Beaver Builder sees EDD right away. The layout was columns, and I just removed the author and date. I didn't need to see that in the content, and show price and add to cart. Really simple. I mean, literally set up a product and a page like this took minutes, if that. Super easy. So that was pretty simple. I also wanted to see how the transaction would work as far as, being the whole process. And being a fan of coupon codes, again, very easy to set up. You can limit the usage. You can give it per product, minimum dollar spend, a percentage, flat rates, how long it's good for, quantity, how many times it can be used. I think I might have said that. So yeah, I did. Limit usage. So a few other areas to talk about, payment history and customers. This is back on the main settings area. It's solid info after sales start to flow because you want to see what's selling, what's popular, what's not popular, who are your customers. And I went back to look into the live side of KitchensinkWP where I'm using this plugin. I can see who bought what, when, and how much they paid. And then from there, I can go and look at reports. Also shows data with a few of the options for getting reports and data being total earnings, downloads, payment methods. And I can segment that data by date, last year, last quarter, last week, custom settings as well. And all that data is very exportable into CSV and I think text as well, but I did it as a CSV file. So that's pretty much the general overview of version 2.11.1. So next up is upgrading from that to RC3. And with the latest version of WordPress, it's easy to do this because WordPress knows there's already an existing folder of the same name, and it lets you to overwrite it. So I went ahead and say upload. I had it locally. I had the 3.0 local on my hard drive. I uploaded it, and it tells me right away that it needs to have the most, it says the minimum requirement is 5.6 of PHP. So that was fine. My server does. And I only have 3 items in my database, so the update was very fast. I imagine this would take longer depending on the depth of products that you have, how much your catalog might be. It could probably take a long time if you have, hundreds and thousands of products or sales and transactions that database has to figure out, right, and rewrite. So mine was instantaneous. So not a great example there or a great use case, but keep that in mind. But there was no issues there. Then after that, in settings, I now see so options for moderation and refunds. Those were not there prior, so that's kind of neat. So I guess there's a refunds capability now. And I think I might have found a bug. I'll let the team know about this. The discount code I created for the version 2 was no longer there in version 3. So I thought that was interesting. I had to recreate the coupon, and it worked, no problem. So as I know part of the team that works behind the product, I think the majority of the work here, for what I know, from what I understand, I don't really know, is all in the back end, on the code, on the databases, on the database side. Probably much more than the front end. The UI and the UX has definitely been updated. It's a little more up-to-date look. It's just a little cleaner. So it's just newer. It's a little fresher, I suppose. It's minor. It's minimal at best, but it looks. You can tell. I could tell right away. So, it makes sense that it would be there because version 2 is a solid product. It's been around for a long time. Version 3 has been a long time, coming, and I'm excited to get it. So it's gonna be really cool. So if you're looking for a solid e-commerce solution, digital products. Again, I have no real connection to them. I know the people who wrote it, but I'm not an affiliate, I don't think. Anyway, it's free. I mean, the plugin's free, so it's not a big deal. I recommend it. I use it now. I'm going to continue using it. It's easy to set up, and I will upgrade to version 3 once it's a final version without question. I see no reason not to. It's a solid product. So if you're looking to sell digital goods, pictures, images, music, definitely recommend it. So check that out. Okay. I think that's cool. So one of my favorite tools for e-commerce, for when clients come to us, it's one of the go-tos. Just simple as that. I'm just going to say it like that. All right. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's going to be just to tie it together, my ebook. Yeah, I'm back doing some sales and prospecting these days for my own business. Things are a little slow this time of year, end of summer, fall, and I just don't want to keep being. Anyway, I'm doing some sales. I'm using my own methods, using the tools that I wrote, my pipe drive software that I use, etc. So if you want to use any of the resources that I created, I have an ebook about how I go about it for prospecting. You can get it over on the website. It's on the resources page. And look at this. If you use the coupon code EDD2021, you'll save 50%. So yeah, if you're looking for my ebook, templates for prospecting, email prospects, that's what I call it, I believe. Check it out. I'll put a link in the show notes. So there you have it. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email. Adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use the SpeakPipe function on the website. You can support the show, become a Patreon. You can sponsor the show like Marker.io. Again, thanks to them for this week's sponsorship. There's a form on the website too. If you're looking for coaching, accountability, it's adamsilver.com. And thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right? Bye-bye.